Hey, my loves. I see Erica and Natasha in the building. Happy Easter. I appreciate y'all joining me today. I had to rest up for a little bit, and then today I rose. Yeah, you might have saw I was online about 3 o'clock in the morning this morning, and then took a little nap and got up to do some more work. It's been a lot of things heavy on my mind, and I'm trying to get these ideas out, guys. So I'm really excited. What's up, Jesse? Trendy Lioness, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're working on making these templates, making these tools accessible so all of us can have beautiful designs. I look forward to your input as well. It's been helping me make better designs. So this is definitely a symbiotic relationship. And it's not quite 4 o'clock yet, so I wanted to log on a little early, see if y'all had any questions or any suggestions for any upcoming designs or things you might want to see. And in the meantime, I'm just prepping my work here, making sure I have everything for our session today. Alright, so meanwhile, I'm going to make sure that I have what I need to have to do color changes. And as soon as Miss Stephanie Moore Williams gets online, I've picked her today. However, if she's not able to make it live, which I think she is, then I have a few other photos that if you're live today, you'll get a chance to be the subject for, or your photo will get a chance to be the subject for the template, but you'll get to do live feedback. Let me know what you want to see, and I'll change these settings for you live so that you'll have this video later to reference. What's up, Chrissy Pooh? All right. I'm just going to make sure that all of my elements are here, because when I'm designing these things, I have to go back and clean them up just for you. We have our guidelines. I'm going to turn those on. The guidelines definitely let us know that if we are to print outside of a certain area, we may lose some of the text and photos, so we want to make sure we keep those clean within this area. Then everything else just bleeds out of that area, and it's fine if it gets cut off. I like to see the majority of my details here within the extra large range, and then it bleeds off into the 2x and 3x range. So I don't put a lot of detail into the 2x, 3x area, only because that's probably the area that's going to have the least detail. You're not going to see that when you do the smaller shirts, so I don't like to put a lot of energy into it, but I still like to make it look nice, because if we have someone with the extended size shirts, I still want them to look just as good as the smaller shirts. Yes, you definitely may ask. This is Photoshop, and what I'm going to start doing with these template tutorials, a few things. One is when I do an all over design, I'm going to go ahead and break it down to a 13 by 19 design, because some of you aren't really ready to do the all over prints. So that's one step that I'm going to do. And then the second step that I'm going to do is save the file, open it in Affinity Photo, and see if there are any quirks to the design that I may have to change if anybody wants to purchase it in Affinity. So I know a lot of you are growing Affinity users, and I want to start accommodating that, but it is a lot more work for me to do a template in one program and then almost have to redo it sometimes. But we did get a few tips, and I wanted to give her credit today. I did try out the settings for Affinity, and they seem to work much better for me now, as far as preserving the text and preserving my smart objects. So I definitely, once I get to I'll do a quick tips video on how to preserve that for yourself if you happen to have purchased a Photoshop file and you want to pull it up in Affinity. So yeah, we'll do that. Oh, you're full. Oh, you ate good today. That is awesome. I hope y'all having a blessed Easter. All right, loves, it's almost 4 o'clock. Stephanie, let me know if you're on yet. And if not, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get started showing you how to adapt the text and the colors and everything. What's up, Kimberly? Thank you. I'm glad you love it. I can't wait to start doing things that really touch you all because I think that design is best when it is inspired. And I love to be inspired, but I love to inspire you all as well. All right. We'll go ahead and get started here. And let me see if I have anyone else here that submitted a photo just in case. Aisha, are you here today? Aisha Barnes? Let me know, chime in if you are. And Tammy Lewis. What's up, Rona? Tammy Lewis, if you happen to be online, let me know as well because I do have you all as my backups. Now, one thing that I'm going to do with this one too is to show you all how this can be a Mother's Day design and not necessarily a remembrance design. You know, I told you I was going to fill y'all in on those type of tips and tricks. So what I'll do, because I know this might be something that you all don't necessarily think of. So what I'll do is I'll clear the slate as far as the background, and then we'll pull in the Mother's Day image. And basically you get a chance to see, now I knew I could have used that. You could use it for graduation, birthdays, anything where you want this rose elegant theme. And then what we'll do is we'll end up building the gradient background instead of the clouds. So I'm excited about showing you all how to do that because I want to show you how not to just use the templates as is, but how to really flip the script and make it your own. All right. Steph is here. All right, baby, let's get to it. Congratulations. You are the winner for today. We get to use your beautiful cousin, correct? As a model for today, and hopefully get to do something that honors her and makes you happy and proud, and leave this session today feeling really good. Yes, Taquisha, we can do one-on-ones for Photoshop or Affinity. I have on the website, I'm going to show you real quick. I set up a quick listing. I'm still working on the website, guys, but you'll see some randomness going on. If you go to Design Services, there is a one-on-one private Photoshop session. You can click on that, and then there are notes that you can put in there and say that you want to do Affinity instead. And then if you want to do Affinity, just let me know if there's a template you want to do. If we do it live, meaning that we do it just like we're doing right now, but you will most likely be controlling my computer, or I will be telling you what to do on your computer, depending on, you know, how your computer's set up and if it's able to process. Then I give you a free template, and that we can use it for that session, or you can use it later. If you prefer to do it, you know, not on live, and that's perfectly fine. That's your prerogative as well. It's $60, and it doesn't come with a free template. So just keep that in mind. But every session I do, I like to have a project in mind. That means I want to be working on something that you're going to remember what we did. And you'll have a video recording of the session, regardless of whether we did it private or whether we did it live. You have a video recording, and you'll have a file at the end of the session that you'll be able to manipulate and go back to, and hopefully help you remember all that we did for that session. Oh, Dee. Well, baby, I'm so sorry, and I know that you will stay safe and you will be healthy. I'm sorry about the diagnosis, and I'm glad that you felt like you needed this distraction today, and we're able to fulfill that for you. Maybe you're gonna pull through. You will pull through. Just stay to yourself and keep your energy together. Get you some rest, and I'm positive that things will have a positive outcome. know it's hard sometimes when we have others that we have to be around and take care of, and it's hard to take care of yourself sometimes. So please do that. I had to do that yesterday. Well, I didn't have to do it. My body made me do it. My body canceled everything. My body and my mind just slept. So yes, definitely we're praying for you, love. All right, love. So let's go ahead and get going with this design. And then what we'll do is along the way, Stephanie, you chime in and let me know. I'm looking at the live chat, so you'll be able to give me input. Let me know if I'm going in the right direction. If you want to see a different direction, that's what I'm here for. So the first thing that I want to do is find the photo. So in this tutorial, this is basically the start of it. I'm going to right click on the photo, and I see where it says photo with wings, and I see the name. Now, Lynette, I don't know if you're here today, but you get this template for free because I used your beautiful photo for inspiration for this design. And it was the pink and all that inspired me. So thank you for allowing us to use that as motivation. Excuse me, for this design. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is turn off the eyeball for that one. I'm going to select this layer so that when I bring my photo in, it will go right on top of that layer. So in order to remove the background, I have brought the image over from my desktop, and I just drag the picture over literally, and it goes to remove the background here. Now, if I had any major issues, I could further remove the background or edit the background in Photoshop, but there's no need. So I'm going to take this as a win and download that image onto my desktop folder. And it will be a PNG, so it will have transparent background. Now I can just drag this straight from the browser and drop it onto my artboard. It is that simple. Now I will drag the corner here, and let me turn on my little cheat sheet there. Oh, this is a beautiful picture. I love the pose and all. Really do. Okay, so I'm going to just place it. Now you can place it where all you're looking for is the bust here, but I like her pose, so I'm going to show you how you can switch it up. Might as well. I love her pose. And then I want to see the stairs a little bit. That's why I put this design so low. Most of my designs are way up here on the chest. But I really wanted to see the stairs, and I wanted to see the cross. And I thought that was relevant for this design. I want to do something a little different. The other thing is I'm going to move the halo. So I'll right click, choose the halo, and go ahead and move it. And you'll see that part of the halo is missing. I'm going to go ahead and delete that layer mask and create a brand new one down here. So if I hover over add layer mask, and it's white because white's going to reveal all, but when I place my halo over the head, and Control T allows us to transform it, I'm going to bring it down in size a little bit. Control plus is allowing me to zoom in. This halo definitely looks like it fits now. And then what you may want to do in order to make it look like this is the front and that's behind, I like to play with illusions of things, especially if I'm working in Photoshop. So making something look in front of and behind and have a foreground and background is important to me. You could leave this just like it is, but if you want to step it up a bit, get your paintbrush. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And right now my paintbrush size is huge, so I'm going to hold down Control Alt and drag the size to the left so that it's smaller, and then I'm going to drag it down a little bit so that's a little more firm, it's not so soft, and I think I need that a little bit smaller. Here we go. And on the layer mask, I'm not going to paint on the actual halo. I'm going to paint with black, and if you don't have black selected here, go to your default. White will be in the front. There we go, and I just switched it so that black is in the front. Black is my active color, And then my opacity, I'm going to bring all the way to 100%. So it's removing that color 100%. And all I'm doing here is painting a mask to where I don't want the halo to show through. And now it looks like the halo is behind her. So that's a trick I want you all to be aware of, just to make things look like it's a little more personalized. You didn't just, you know, throw some things together. You really made it look like it was meant for that photo. All right, so the next thing is we have some clouds here. I'm sorry, the wings here. We do have clouds as well. So what I did, I got carried away on this template, y'all. So it's good for y'all because this template has several different wing choices. So I like the wings half up for this design because it doesn't interfere with our background graphic here, but you have several options by which you may choose to switch it up. We have the big wings here, and these are actually, they have front and back wings. Oh, you know what? That's a good idea. I did not mean to, but I need to take these two wings and link them. There we go. So when I bring it back on, it has front and back wings. So it looks like it encompasses or covers the person if you use this set of wings. But this one, for me, for this particular one, it takes away a little bit from my gait and from her pose. So that might not be the one that I choose. So I'm going to turn that one off. You have these that stand up, and you can move these around. So as a matter of fact, let me move my photo back down. And I'm going to move everything from the photo with the wings up all together, so that all of my wings pretty much stay in the same area. So these are the wings half down. You want it to play with those. I like those too. And maybe I'll do a different set because I like those on her. Now the quarter turn wings, and the quarter turn wings may actually work for this one because that's usually if you have someone that's somewhat of an angle and they're not just straight on forward, you can use these wings. And then I have some side wings on here. Just to show you how those go. If you had a side view picture, I know sometimes you have those. Yeah, like I said, I got a little carried away for y'all, but I got excited. I really did. So I'm going to do the half down wings. I think they look really pretty on her. I still have the pose there. I'm loving that. And Stephanie, you let me know. Oh, you like those too. Awesome. Oh, that would be nice, Chrissy Poo. So I'll go ahead, as soon as I'm done with this, I'll upload this online because it will be ready for you. Okay. All right. So let's see. Now I need to take my halo. I forgot that I needed to keep, you know what? Maybe I should put my halo in my photo with wings folder. Like I said, anytime I do these tutorials, it helps me help you all too. Here we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so Stephanie, what colors would you like to see for her? I think there's like navy blue in her outfit, but I didn't know if you want to go with the blue or pink or a red, any color you can think of, because I would like to showcase changing the colors, even if it's just a slight color change. And I don't know if I have a little delay in the chat here, but Stephanie, if you can also, blue, okay, awesome, we'll go with blue. If you can also let me know if you want to put the name on here. If you don't, I'll leave it as first name, last name, and that's fine, so that you'll have that as something you can edit later in the template. But if you want me to go ahead and edit it for you now, just let me know and I will do that for you. So we're going to take this and make it a blue theme. Let's see, how are we wanting to do that? First thing first is I have a little gradient here, and of course it's already got blue. This is a color overlay here, and this color blend mode is a gradient, but it's on the color blend mode instead of normal. So normal, that's what it would look like, and then I put it on color so that it can color the sky and the images behind it with the gradients and the shadows and everything. I know, but you know what's really pretty too? Doing the pink and the blue is really pretty too. Maybe we should try that. What do you think? Oh, Chrissy Poo. Okay, so this is what we'll do. We'll create the blue, and then the pink will already be there too, and then we'll see what it looks like when you kind of mix it up. Okay, so y'all will get like a 3-for-1 tutorial today. Okay, so pink is there. I like the pink. I'm gonna duplicate this layer because I don't want to mess with my pink. So I'm gonna turn off the pink layer, double click on this gradient, and then I'm going to change this to blues. Now I can randomly pick my blues, or I can pick from the photo. Like I said, I know that there's some navy blue in here, and I'm just using my color picker to kind of move around and grab some color there. But it might not be an easy image to pull color from, and that's fine too. And if that's the case, then what we do, we pick our own colors. So I'm going to leave that one there. You can also zoom in a little bit. Let's pick up that pink, and I like gradients because it pretty much gives you a little playroom. So I'm going to choose like a lighter kind of Carolina blue there. We have the darker blue. I'll put the lighter blue again and the darker blue again just to see what it looks like. And then I'm going to Control minus to zoom out and see if that's the look that I want to go for. Do I want that kind of blue or that kind of effect? I might even come in here and make that blue a little bit lighter, just so that we have that. So let me know, is this the type of blue you like? Would you like to see it darker, bolder? Some people like really bold colors. I tend to go with more of the pastels, or if I do bold colors, I do crazy bold colors. Like I did one with a hot pink and like really bold yellow gradient. I like to see those too. All right, so Stephanie loves this one. I love when I see the word love. All right, great. So now all we're going to do is I'm going to take this gradient, and I just turned off my color overlay. So I had a color overlay of a dark pink here on this. This is like the middle ground clouds. I just did this to add a little bit of visual interest between the sky background and the clouds in the foreground. So we're going to do a color overlay there. I'm going to double click it. Instead of replacing it, I'm going to add to and take off my pink color overlay. And then I'm just going to grab me one of these darker blues here. And you'll see it will automatically update my image there. I like that. And I'll say okay. So if I ever want to go back to the color overlay that I had before, there's my pink, and now there's my blue. So you can do a few variations. I don't suggest that you just add and have 20 different colorways and everything, but you can. I save about 4 or 5 different colorways so that I have basically some suggestions when I open the file. Sometimes you open a file and you're like, I don't know what I want to do with it. Like Chrissy Poo says that, you know, basically, or you don't mind me calling you Chrissy Poo. Chrissy Poo says she wants to see it in the colorway that she needs to turn it to because it makes it easier for her to follow along. So keep those, and then you'll have some variations when you open the file again. All right, so we did our midground, and then the foreground clouds. Let's open that folder up, and we see we have that same gradient. So what I'm going to do, instead of recreating that gradient, I'm going to hold down Alt, click, and drag it above my pink. And this made it go for the entire shirt, which if you're going for that look, that's the easiest thing to do, is take that gradient overlay and put it over the whole design. Matter of fact, let me show you real quick. If I were to put this over everything, bam, everything's blue. Easy peasy. But of course, I can't make it that easy for you. So what I'm doing is I'm going to grab it and pull it down below the pink one, and then above the pink one. And what that did is I already had a color, I already had this clipped to this, the foreground clouds layer. So what it did is it just further clipped it there. And then I can turn off the pink. I have the blue now, and now we see we have the blue thing. Same thing for the roses. We have to change the roses. So Let's see. I have a hue saturation set up for the red for the roses. So let me see how I want to further do this. Maybe, let me see if this works. I'm going to drag that blue layer above the rose's bottom and clip it to the roses. Okay, that works. And then let me get rid of that layer mask. Oh, and the layer mask is here. Let me show you what this layer mask does. For instance, if we had the pink on, if you enable this layer mask, what I did was I let a little bit, just a little bit in the center of the sky show through if you don't want the sky to be pink. So basically it's just a little bit of black paint brushed on this layer mask to let the blue show through. So like I said, we're gonna have a little remix session where we take and make a pink and blue. But for right now, I'm gonna disable it. We'll keep it simple and I'll put my blue back on. All right, so I'm showing you how to make it all, do your overall color changes. So for the roses, we'll go to, I right click. I don't like sifting through the sides over here. It's hard for me to read words and understand what I'm clicking on visually. So I visually search for what I'm looking for. I'll click here and I'll say, okay, roses, right sleeve, that's the entire group. Cool beans, I'll take this blue, I'm gonna Alt, drag it above the group here, and right click, create a clipping path, or clipping mask, my bad. So then that turns the roses blue. Same thing for the left sleeve, Alt click, drag, right click, create a clipping mask, and that way my image stays full color in true color, and then my elements, my design elements are what changes the hues. Let's see, what else do I need to change here? Of course, the text here. So let's do our in loving memory. I'm going to duplicate this group because this one already has the pink colorway, and I'm going to save that to change for yeah, I forgot already, but for our previous image that we had there. So I'm going to make sure I leave that for her. And then for the blue, we're just going to go in there, first name, I have it. You scroll. Terry Lynn Hall. And like I said, this, what I typically do is I do not type this stuff in, I copy and paste. But because this is taking too much of a risk to pull this the YouTube up while I'm live recording, I don't want my computer to crash and to lose you all, so I am typing this in. This is a very rare sight for me. So please let me know if I'm misspelling anything as I go. And that is the reason why I don't manually type stuff. So that's just one of my lessons that I've learned that I'd like to share with you all. Don't type stuff. Just let the customer submit it to you. I don't care if it's text message, email. You can send it by airplane as long as it gets there. All right, so beautiful. Her name is on there now. And now we just need to switch the colorway. So let's go double click on our effects here. We'll go to the gradient overlay, and of course it's got that dusty rose to a lighter rose color. I'm just going to duplicate that because I want to keep my pink. I'll duplicate that, and then I'll go grab one of my darker blues, and I'll just grab a blue from the rose. And then I'll grab one of my lighter blues somewhere from the rose, and there we have it, done. Now the inside here just has black trim with a little bit of gold, so I don't even have to change that. This is done and ready to go. And if I wasn't doing so much talking, we probably would have got this done in less than 10 minutes. Stephanie, the font in this one, oh, that's a great question. When you all order templates, if it's not a font that I created to sell, then it's usually a free font. So when you open up a file, before you even do anything, Photoshop will let you know, hey, knock knock, you're missing this font, and it'll tell you like Strike Alone Script is the name of this font, right? So what you'll do is you will Google, I'm going to show you real quick, Strike Alone font, and I should have put font, and then more than likely when you look for the free font, you're going to find like a demo version of it. Now, if you're using it for personal use, of course, download the demo. But if you're not using it for personal use and you feel like you need all the characters, because a lot of times it's not going to come with all the characters. But this is a nice font. If you wanted to purchase it, I'm sure you could purchase it, but you would just download this one and you would have the free for personal use version of it. So I get that a lot. You guys are asking me like where to find the fonts, and it seems like a little bit of work. Trust me, it is a little bit of work, but you will start to build your font arsenal. And once you start learning what fonts you really like, this is going to help you tremendously. It helps me tremendously just to have variations in fonts and things that I can look at. Yes, so the font will definitely be in the template. You'll be able to see, even if it'll have like a triangle here with an exclamation point, looks like a caution symbol, letting you know that you don't have that font installed. But if you come up here to where the character is, it'll still tell you what it is. As soon as you try to edit it, it will give you an error saying, hey, if you edit this font, it's not going to look the same anymore because you don't have this font on your computer. My suggestion is to download the font before you start editing the template. Okay, then that way you don't have to worry about that mess up. So we got Terry Lynn, and let's put, we can do her last name down there just to kind of, her last name is shorter than her first name, and then maybe we do Terry Lynn Hall. That way we get the variation. I like to have a little bit of variation when it comes to these templates. And just typography in general. And whenever we have the text where we have the cases that drop, like the G's and the Y's, sometimes we don't get our full color variation. You can see how that darker color is only on the bottom of that Y. If that's the case, double click, go to your gradient, and just maneuver that gradient to where the darker color has more rain, and all of a sudden you'll see the darker color move up in that text. Okay, so that's it. What do you think? What do you think, Steph? Yeah, that one, this one's not hard. I mean, I think a lot of them are not hard. It's just some of them have a lot of different elements you can change. So now that we have this one, I'm going to go ahead and first of all save, because I be tripping and not saving my work as I'm going. But let's just run through what we've done so far in terms of if you want to make it like a remix version. So maybe we want to do the pink and the blue. So maybe we want to do the blue flowers at the bottom, pink flowers at the top. I don't know, but you see already, that's an option. And then remember I told you with the background, with the heaven and the clouds, you have an option. Did I remove it? Oh, yes, here it is. So you have the option to let the original color of the cloud show through right there. So that's our remix version. And how quick was that? Pink and blue, cotton candy look. So I just want to show y'all that you can go through this and definitely play with it, get your own ideas together. Like I like to use color palettes either from someone's outfit, or I make the outfit match the color palette because I can't stand when the outfit doesn't match. So in this case, our beautiful model already had on the blue, made that work just perfectly. Divine intervention, you know, it just happened that way. But when it doesn't happen that way, you can still make it look heavenly, okay? Yeah, I like the remix version too. All right, so I think also, let me show you if we were doing this as a Mother's Day. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and save what I have here. And while I have you here, because I don't want to put the words on here to say in loving memory while I pull a picture in. So what I'm going to do is duplicate this group. We're not going to call it loving memory. This is going to be, let's see, what can we say for this one? Is the last time we did a Mother's Day one, I said a mother's love, and we found like a mother's love poem or something. So what can we say for this one? because I don't want to do the same thing. I'll keep a mother's love up there till y'all give me something different because I need y'all's help right now. And you can put Happy Mother's Day. I try not to make it specific to a certain day, especially if I'm giving it as a gift. I like to put things that basically make it something that she'll be proud to wear year long. And here's another thing, you don't have to put mom's picture on the shirt. If you put the grandkids on that shirt, because you know they're never gonna love you like they love their grandkids, but put their grandkids on the shirt, they will wear that shirt out. Okay, and then just go ahead and haphazardly put your little website on there, so when people ask her, ask mom where she got the grandkid shirt from, they can easily see where that comes from. All right, so what I'm going to do now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and take off the visibility of the photo. As a matter of fact, the whole photo with the wings, I'll just turn that off as a group layer. And then I'm going to turn the heavens and clouds off. You see automatically the design starts to change. And of course, we need our background roses. We can turn off the foreground clouds. And this is me just showing you how to use this this template in a totally different way. Let's go ahead and turn off the gate. And voila. Now we just have a purely loving Mother Rose type of design here. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and turn off, I'm going to do this one red. Why not? I'm going to turn off the hue saturation that I have set. That made everything pink. And I'm also going to turn off the levels. Let me see what happens. When I turn it on, let's duplicate. Because sometimes I don't get my pure colors that I want when I do like the pastel type color overlay. So let's just test and see if I were to pick some reds, how that works in reverse. Bold red color. I'm moving too fast for the computer right now. And go with red again. Yeah, I'll have to change my blend mode and my levels underneath to really get the colors that I want. So let me turn that one off. And let's see, it's on color. Yeah, I'm not going to do it like that. Not if I want the red, because it's already red. Back to my history. There we go. So yeah, I have my deep reds in here, which I do like. I'm gonna just go into my different groups here. So this will be my left sleeve roses. And I will turn off right sleeve, left sleeve. Yeah, I collapse these folders when I'm done with them. So I turned off my hue saturation, and then I'm going to turn off the levels because I want that true red. Same thing here with the bottom roses. Roses bottom, let's expand that folder. Let's turn off the levels and the color. And I also have this gradient overlay right here. Let's turn that off so I get my true red back. I'm liking that already. Now this red is really popping, and if you have your printer and your ink settings just right, this is gonna look phenomenal. So I also have top roses for the background here and middle roses for the background as well. We'll turn off the levels and the hue saturation there. And then for this one, we may end up, let me turn off that pink overlay as well. I think I like, because I was thinking maybe I would want the reds to be full color, and if so, I'll go to my background roses. I can change my opacity to a higher opacity. And I still don't want it to be exactly 100 because it's competing with my foreground roses. So I might make it something like 80, 72, something like that. Still looks good to me. Alright, so the next thing that I would do, instead of the heaven and background, I'm just going to do a gradient. So I'm going to create a new gradient layer. So we're going to layer. We're going to do a new fill layer and do a gradient. Y'all know how I feel about this gradient. So we'll call this gradient background. And when you purchase this file, it'll already be on there because of what we're doing right now. So this one, I'll double click on the gradient and we can change it. So this black, I may change to this darkest, deepest red. And then I might bring one of the brighter reds. And right now, this is going from the darkest color to transparent, but I can also make this, if I don't want this to be transparent, I can go to this location and select 100% of my opacity to make it fully opaque. There we go. And now that I'm not doing pastels, I don't want my roses to have the glow on them. Let's take off that outer glow. Or, here we go. It's an idea. Instead of a white outer glow, we'll do black outer glow. And now it just makes it pop off of those background roses. And yeah. So for this one, I would just have to change it and say okay. Same thing to the roses on the left side. Collapse that. All right. And I'll do the same thing to my roses at the bottom. Outer glow, let's go ahead and change it over to black. And this is where you'll start to see that your design eye has to come in. When I'm doing these deeper colors or these more saturated colors, then a white glow looks totally different than a black glow. So you'll be using your discernment. I'm sure you'll be picking that up. And now even my text pops a little bit different. Do y'all see that? All right, so let's bring in mom's photo. And we'll go back to remove BG. You like the red too, Chrissy? Oh, cute. I'm sorry, love. Yeah, anytime I'm working on things like this where it's really heartfelt, it's really very, very touching and sensitive, I really do like to put love into this type of stuff. And yes, you're right. A lot of times you get so wrapped up in the process and handling business that you don't even get to do this sort of thing for yourself. I did. If y'all notice, I see it was a lot of feedback for the funeral programs and things of that nature. One of the first funeral programs I ever did, where I spent that much time, was my dad's. And I spent a lot of time. I made the video, I made the program, and I did this big canvas. And it ate up so much time that it kept me involved throughout the process. But then like afterwards, it was, you know, I didn't get a chance to make the shirts or things that I may have wanted to make for myself. But doing that process, I did get to process, you know, a lot of what I was feeling. So definitely this project, Q, is going to help you process some of that stuff too. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is, especially when you have the time and energy to devote to it. So I can't wait to see what you come up with. Let's go ahead and download this photo of mom. We'll download it. And it did leave a little bit of extraneous little piece right there, but we'll clean that on up. No problem. And before I drag it over, I want to make sure that I'm on this photo area so that when I drag the image in, it drops above that. Otherwise, sometimes it'll drop it and I don't know where it went. And look, if she was wearing that black and white, and y'all, that black and white and that red. Mom is doing it. Tell Mom happy Easter. She look like she got her Easter fit on now. This is gorgeous. All right, so y'all already know what it is. I'm going to fade these edges because I don't play about these sharp edges here. So let's go ahead and add a layer mask. We're going to grab our paintbrush here, and we're going to paint on the layer mask. So white is going to reveal all, and black is going to conceal. So what I'll do, I'll hold down Control and Alt. I'm going to drag with my right mouse a bigger brush, and then I see my brush is not, it's too hard. I want it softer. So same thing, I'm doing Control Alt, and oops, I was supposed to be right clicking. And then I'm just reducing it so to where I get that softest edge there. So I do have black selected as my foreground color, as you can see here, and I'm ready to paint on my mask. So I'm just painting. I'm not affecting the photo by doing any destructive measures. I'm just simply playing with my mask. And there we have it. Tammy, do you happen to be on live today? And if not, Tammy will be completely surprised because technically that means I'm giving away 2 templates today. So happy Easter and happy early Mother's Day, which is right around the corner. So let's go ahead, let's change, because this is a whole nother set of text. And although I don't know the name to put here, I'll just change the colors. And then once you all get these templates, this will be motivation to change up the templates. So let's do that gradient overlay. I have that blue to white. I'm going to add a new one. Turn off the old one. And I'm going to do the darker red to the full red. There we go. And I'm going to tell y'all a little something. I don't like this solid color just right here in the middle. Maybe that's just me. So what I'm going to do is either watermark the roses in the background, or I'll do this. I'll grab one of my, because I have to do a grunge anyhow, because when I turn this into a 13 by 19, I have to have some sort of background to clip it to, and y'all know I don't do those square and rectangular backgrounds. So let me pull up my grunge clipping mask cheat sheet, and let's see which one I'm going to use. This one, let's use that one. I just dragged it in, and I'm going to drag it below everything except for the background right now. Control T is going to allow me to transform it. And all I'm doing is just adding a little bit of visual interest here, but at the same time, I'm kind of peeping out where my 13 by 19 cutoff would be, because even if you do these all over shirts, not everybody is going to be able to not only afford an all over shirt, but sometimes they're just so late they can't get an all over shirt. You don't have the time to get the resources together for that. So in that case, I offer the 13 by 19s with the same design, because you don't want to be wearing yourself out on these designs. Tell them that they can get the same design as a 13 by 19 version, and then basically what you end up doing, drag this all the way down, and I'm going to group everything that is not the text. I'll have to play with this a little bit. So I usually leave the text alone. The roses at the bottom, I'll leave alone. And I probably, when I make the 13 by 19 version, this is what I'm saying, it's not exactly a 13 by 19 version when I do it this way, because I always clean it up more and optimize it for smaller printing. So I'll show you that. But in the meantime, let me just show you that this is our background with our roses. This is our full background. We'll just call this background. And I'm going to apply that layer mask to my grunge mask. Control select just my thumbnail, and it's going to select these active pixels. I'll go to my background and I will create a layer mask. That way, when I turn off this grunge mask layer, I can delete it now, and voila, I have pretty much a 13 by 19-ish type of background that does not look like a traditional square background. Now, what I was doing, let me undo deleting that because I really liked how the black looked. I'm going to disable this layer mask now. So I was doing that so I can prep for my 13 by 19, but now I'm going to use it as a design element. Put the black on top, and then I can change the opacity. It doesn't have to be this pure black here. I'm going to bring it down to where what it does, it just breaks up that pure red right there. And y'all let me know if that looks better or if I'm just wasting my time and I'm just too hard on myself. But when I see like pure background color, it just it makes my palms itch a little bit. I have to get on the mouse and do something. Oh, Chrissy Poo. Well, how about this? If you've already purchased one of the templates, you can drag a mask from one folder to another, just like I did. I can take this mask that I just created and I can drag that mask into a new file or folder. So what I'll do, I'm guessing that I can just offer to do a package where it just has these grunge backgrounds and kind of a mask for you all. So that might work too. Jenny says, is sell the funeral program template? Not yet. I did a survey to see how many people would be interested in that because I have to clean up my files to make them templates. There was heavy interest in that. So I definitely will be having that available. And Max, you say you don't know how to access the one I did for Crystal. If I did one for Crystal and did it as a, yeah, I remember doing crystals. Go ahead and make sure that you have an account set up online. And all I'll do is I will basically credit you that template so that you'll have it on your account. So just make sure you message me about that, and I'll make sure that you have that template. And that was a beautiful template, by the way. Crystal, just Crystal, I remember. The grunge backgrounds are not in the PNG package, but I may end up doing this as a separate package because I've been kind of playing with these grunge backgrounds. I've been wanting to build the library before I offer them to you, but it seems like y'all can use them now. So I may offer that as a separate package. But good question, Rona. So now that we have our kind of 13 by 19 set up, this is what I do. So I'm going to save this folder, this file as is. So now we have a pure red setup. We have the blue to pink. We have the all blue and we have the all pink. So that's all in this template right now. And then of course, if you want purple, uh, hot pink, neon green, whatever colors you want to change this to, you should be able to achieve that with the methods that I showed you in this tutorial. So the tutorial is pretty much done. All I'm going to do now is show you how I break it down to a 13 by 19 template so that you don't have to buy both files. So now when I get ready to save it as a 13 by 19, I'm going to save as, and I just take over the all over. All right. And I'll just name it roses because I'll remember it because of the roses. And now that this is a totally different file, I am going to go ahead and do my crop tool. If you don't have 13 by 19 selected as your ratio, cool. I'll show you what it looks like without that. You will just type in 13 for your width, 19 for your height, and then hit enter for everything. And you want to make sure, see how it says delete crop pixels? Make sure that is not selected. You don't want to delete your crop pixels. But we can hit enter here. And then I also wanted to make sure, yeah, so we have it to where it's not going to crop any of our pixels or delete any data. So while that's happening, I'm just saving and closing down windows. All right, now because it's 13 by 19, I don't need my template here, and I would just unlock them and delete them. You could leave them on there if you wanted to, because if you ever wanted to start with the 13 by 19 and possibly make it an all-over shirt later, you can always bring those template guidelines back in, and those are free. If you don't know, they're on the Innate Lab website. If you just type in the word free, you'll see what free files I have. And I do have the free files now for the toddler, the infant size onesies, and the youth shirts now. So y'all go check that out. Now, like I was saying, for this particular purpose, 13 by 19, these roses are not in the proper area. Let me select my move tool. I'm going to grab the roses for the right sleeve. Hold down shift, move them over. I don't want, even my shadow, I don't want to be hanging off the edge of the paper because it will get cut off. And I'll do the same thing with the roses for the left sleeve. And now we see we have a little bit of a different layout, but it's the same idea. And it looks like my roses at the bottom just need to be, and maybe even not moving the roses, but just changing the outer glow to where it's not so heavy. I can bring in the size and the spread, and now it's not getting remotely close to that edge, so I'm happy with that. And then that will be it. Now it's a 13 by 19 design. You see why I like those masks so much? And as a matter of fact, looks like this needs to be adjusted here. The reason why I keep a background on here, because sometimes you see that checkerboard, you think your edges are clean, and they will show you something else once you print them and press them. So that's the idea there. Now, if you want these watermarked roses to show a little bit better, you have your background roses there. You can do Control T, and I'll pull those in a little bit so we see them a little bit better. They have a little bit more visual impact. There are my top roses, and then I'll bring my middle roses down a little bit. And now if you were printing this, whether it be the remembrance or not, you still have all of your things in place. Now if you bring those blues back and you want that lighter blue like I had before, you also have to bring back the levels and the hue saturation change there. So just keep that in mind. But that is it. It's that, and let me go ahead and save. Now I'm going to see if it will allow me to open this up in Affinity. what I do, instead of right clicking and open it with Affinity, I try to open it from the Affinity program, because Affinity is slick, and if you start right clicking and opening your Photoshop files with Affinity, it might assume that you always want to open your Photoshop files in Affinity, and I've kind of dealt with that. So my solution to that is to open the file from the Photoshop or from the Affinity program. So before we open anything, we're going to go to our preferences and the general preferences. And these are things in Affinity I want you to make sure that you have turned on, so that when you open one of my Photoshop templates, you have the best, best case scenario for preserving what you can preserve. Right now I have the documents open in the current active group, import PSD text as text rather than bitmap. That one is important, so it is preserving my text now. Doesn't necessarily preserve all of my the ways that I do, like my gradients and outlines, so we'll see that in just a bit. And then you want to import PSD smart objects where possible. And I have copy items as SVG, and that's just in case I use SVG anywhere in the file. And save thumbnails with the documents. That's actually helpful because Photoshop doesn't even do that. I don't know if there's a way to do that in Photoshop. And I have insert filler text as text. Anything that said text, yes, I want text. I don't want my stuff bitmapped anymore. And I didn't select this. I think this was automatically selected by default. Load the metadata from the XMP sidecars. I think that's it. So I'm going to close that out so that now when I do file open, and I should be able to open, let's say I just want to open my 13 by 19 right now. It may take it a little time to figure out how it's going to deal with those smart objects and the outlines and everything. And see, this is exactly what I was talking about. It doesn't do my text justice. However, there are some things that I can go back and change as long as it at least saved my text. The problem I was having before was it was not saving my text at all. Okay, so we see that let me bring it up side by side here. So you see that it did not preserve the way that I did my text as far as the multiple outlines, because Affinity does not have a way to do multiple outlines other than you would take that text there, group it, and you would have to do a layer effect to each part of the group. So I'm going to add the style from selection and then paste that style onto the main group. And take the style off of here. So, moving something around there, no business moving. Okay, wait a minute. There we go. So for this one, we're not going to do an outer shadow. We are going to do an outline. The outline, instead of white and solid color, let's make it gradient. And I have a gold saved up in here. And what we're going to end up doing, I'm going to close that out for a second. And I'm going to turn off the outline for the group and play with the outline for the inside text here. Oh, I know what it's doing. It has a color overlay or a gradient overlay on the group right now. Let's turn that off, because the gradient overlay should be underneath, and we'll turn the outline back on. Close that. And this is why it takes me longer to do Affinity files, because I do have to kind of go back and basically remake a lot of my effects. So my gradient overlays back on there, my outline. I'm not sure why my outline is not. I shouldn't have to add that much radius to it, but there it goes. A little outline. It's not going to look exactly the same as it does in Photoshop, but this is how I have to mimic the same effects. So you do see that it is a little bit more aggravating, but I am getting the job done. And this one does have a drop shadow. It's on there, so we're good on that. So then what I would end up doing is I would copy the layer style for the outside group, and I'm going to go ahead and in Affinity it's called add layer style from selection, and then I'm also going to add the layer style from selection for the text. So basically these are two layer styles that are applied. So now scroll down here, and then I want to do the same thing to A Mother's Love. Then I would Control G to group A Mother's Love, and I'm going to just go ahead and clear off. I don't have to clear it off. If I hit the style 40, it's automatically going to apply. And then for the overall group, I'll do style 39. And style 40 still looks like I have too much of a radius on that gold there. So there we have it. And this is why you see I can do Affinity. I can deal with Affinity. It definitely has a lot of features, but in order to make my images look the same, I do have to deal with some of these limitations, especially with the I'm hitting Control plus to zoom in. I guess it's taking a little time. There we go. So yeah, for haul, same thing. Let's do, I was trying to see if I can clear the layer style from here, but I don't think that gives me that option like in Photoshop. So I'm just going to take off everything, close it, and then go ahead and group the word haul. And for this one, it's not going to be the same. I would also chose the font there, and that's what I didn't want it to do. So let me go back. My history here. We'll just manually make it look like that. Okay, so for the haul, we're going to keep the white outline, but we're going to make that the outside of the group. So let's come over here, add style from selection, and then for the inside, so I have to group that, add the white from the outside. For the inside, I have to add my little gold. You know, I have to do with my gradients. So we'll take off the outer shadow, take off the bevel and emboss. Oh, we can leave that on. Do the outline, bring it down, and technically it should be a gradients. And let me see if I have to bring the fill. Now the fill should still be able to be 0 and show the outline. I'm not seeing my gold outline here. I have it on normal. 100% opacity. Let's close that. And let's deal with the outline here. Bring it down. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's not the same effect as in Photoshop. So when I do an outline here, it is also outlining the inside of the text, which I'm sure there has to be a way to like knock it out. I just don't know how that will be done here in Affinity. Normally I have an option to knock out or to block the subsequent layers in Photoshop, but I don't know if I have that option here. So this is odd because it's not showing my gold at all. Okay, so there's my gold without being grouped with the white. Delete that group. And this is because it's in the group above it. And I think the only way to do this is to increase the fill here and actually color it in. So I don't get my transparent look with that, and I don't really like that because I liked how it was transparent and the roses showed through. So I guess I would have to play with that and see how I could mimic that effect in Affinity. I mean, this looks fine for now. But it's definitely missing the feature that I had before where it had the clear text and you could see straight through it, see the roses and everything in the background. But that is, matter of fact, let me do save as so I don't save this over my Photoshop version. And let's do Affinity. And you'll see that I've been translating some of the images over to Affinity. And if I don't transfer them over and you decide to just purchase the Photoshop version, you can absolutely go in and do this type of stuff yourself, which is to edit the text to make sure that you mimic the same features that I have in the Photoshop file. But that's it. The toddler and kids templates are basically, they're in the folder. So if you go back, matter of fact, you know what, I'll just create a new listing for them because it'll be easier for you all who've already downloaded the first one. So I'll do that. When I get off today, I'll go ahead and upload this template since a lot of people want this template. And oh, it's almost 6 o'clock. So 6 o'clock we get to do our live again. So I'll take a quick break for that. So while we're going through our live, I'm going to be uploading the new templates and I'll be uploading this particular Roses Remembrance design. And then the new templates that I'm talking about are the free ones. They have the outlines for the youth, toddler, infant, and I think that's it. So I got that for you, Rona. I will be on it, my love. All right, any other questions, guys? Because I just realized what time it is. So I'm going to have to let y'all go just for a moment so I can go ahead and probably eat something for the day. And then I'll check back in with you at 6 p.m. We're going to do, so less than an hour. We're going to, it's a premiere live, so it's a pre-recorded video. But it's me doing the process that you all have been asking for a very long time, which is tiling the 13 by 19 prints. And then I will also be referring you to the video where I do all over press with the full sheets and how you break down the file. So there's basically 3 parts to it. So we'll be watching the hardest part, which is the actual tiling and setting up the physical prints. All right, love. Oh, you're welcome, Ronan. Thank you all. I appreciate you hanging around and input for today. And definitely those of you, Stephanie and Tammy, go ahead and message me and I will give you, I will go ahead and set up an invoice on the back end that will show $0, but it will give you access to the templates that we did today. So make sure that you have an account set up on innatelab.com. All right, loves. I will check y'all in just a little bit. Love you. Bye.